Did you write Lil Wayne's rhymes? Is that true? Is that true? Is that true?
Clear the air, man. Let cats know about the Lil Wayne street.
What songs you wrote, what verses you wrote.
Did you ghostwrite for Lil Wayne?
Payne, give me a check. 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 When I checks got big enough, you homie, I'm gone.
I'm not a writer, I'm a writer for myself and others.
It's gonna be some stuff you're gonna see that's gonna make it hard to smile in the future.
Stop with baby, man. Nigga didn't wanna pay me, man.
You was cool with Stunner. I thought you and Stunner was cool.
I mean, you know, the whole time I was around there, I couldn't complain because the nigga never with my money.
One reoccurring hip-hop myth that's been around for decades is the claim that Gillie the Kid wrote for Lil Wayne. It's a question that Gillie the Kid has dodged in recent years since making a lot of noise in the media space, with the question often resurfacing, but him dodging these questions got me wanting to peel the layers back to see if Gillie the Kid is big cap, like them big oversized Philadelphia Eagle hats. So I began my journey to find the truth of this situation. But before we get on our Inspector Gadget type, for context purposes, we're gonna get into Gillie the Kid and Lil Wayne's connection and briefly how Gillie's career started, as well as Gillie being signed to Cash Money and how his rap career kinda came to. Gillie the Kid was a part of the Philly-based rap group Major Figgas, consisting of Gillie and Wallo and rappers that Gillie and Wallo grew up around, who eventually received notoriety in the underground scene with independent releases and mixtapes that would eventually get noticed by DJ Clark Kent, who introduced Major Figgas to other local producers. But before they really started popping off, Wallo would do his infamous 20-year prison stint, and Gillie would be forced to continue on without him. But nonetheless, Major Figgas would go on to drop an independent album called Figgas for Life, which got their buzz on fire in the East Coast, which resulted them hanging out with huge stars like Jay-Z and DMX. And Major Figgas was getting all type of record label offers from Def Jam, Rockefeller, Warner Brothers, but they ended up signing with Warner Brothers as a rap group, but ended up signing to their own solo deals. Warner Brothers would re-release Figgas for Life in the year 2000 with a few new tracks, and the album did somewhat good, I guess, debuting at number 115 on the Billboard charts, which included Major Figgas' biggest radio hit single, Yeah That's Us, which made it to number 2 on the rap singles chart, which also caught the attention of Birdman. Gillie ended up rubbing shoulders, paws, with Cash Money CEO Birdman at a Philly concert. A meeting would later be conducted with Birdman and Gillie, with Gillie signing to Birdman only a week later. Around the same time, Lil Wayne was starting to blow up, you know, dropping his debut album, The Block Is Hot, back in '99. Lil Wayne would follow it up with a project called Lights Out, which dropped in December of the year 2000. Wayne had already gained notoriety from being in the group Hot Boys, but wasn't at that superstar level yet as a solo artist. Gillie was repping Cash Money to the fullest at this time and had high hopes in bringing Major Figgas with him. But a follow-up album would never happen, as members would fall back into the street life and going back to jail and getting bodies, back to hustling and all type of, which eventually led the group to break up. And despite signing with Cash Money, a solo album from Gillie the Kid would never happen. Kinda like Dr. Dre's Detox album. Kinda like that Shazam movie. This would come to head due to difference of opinion over publishing rights. Cash Money allegedly owned the publishing rights of all their artists, but Gillie was unwilling to give up his publishing rights. Combined with many other disagreements, Gillie left Cash Money and got out of his deal, which at first seemed to be cordial, but things would eventually go left. And after Gillie the Kid left the label, Lil Wayne's prime run would finally begin, with him dropping the Carter 1, debuting at number 5 on the Billboard charts. He would follow it up with the album The Carter 2 in 2005. which made its way to number 2 on the Billboard charts. And about 3 months later, Lil Wayne dropped a mixtape called The Carter 2 Like Father Like Son. And on the song Problem Solver, Lil Wayne is taking direct shots at Gillie the Kid, make no mistake about it. Gillie, man, I don't think you dudes should really f with me. The off me, urgently working and twerking it perfectly. And you can tell this is an old rhyme, because to say your is twerking in 2025 kind of sounds suspect, but let's proceed. According to Gillie, this beef came out of nowhere because he didn't even know he had issues with Lil Wayne. Wayne from then till now has never publicly addressed why he dissed Gillie in the first place. So on Wayne's behalf, it remains unclear. Now this is where shit hits the fan and things start to get a little dicey. It seems like Gillie's initial response was on a random street DVD that was later uploaded to YouTube 16 years ago, where he's in the trenches of Philly with the goons addressing Lil Wayne. Now it's very important to note in this almost 8-minute long video that there is no mention of Gillie saying he wrote for Lil Wayne, none at all. I'm a petty soul just like Gillie, right? And if I was writing rhymes for an artist who later dissed me, the first thing I'm doing when I address this said artist is expose the fact that I was their ghostwriter. But then again, maybe Gillie was saving it to air it out on one of his diss tracks to Lil Wayne when he responded. But Gillie did say in this video that he influenced Lil Wayne basically.
Clear the air, man. Let cats know about the Lil Wayne situation.
He's a fake, a phony. We're going to show the in his armor, the holes in his story. He ain't a real n***, and he dissed me. And I reached out to him, and he didn't reach back. The whole period when the Wayne was getting his shit together, I was there. Oh, there you go. When I got there, it was like wobbly, 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 dropping like it's hot.
Yeah. And
then when I left, it was with the ball. Hey, we all from Philly, right? How many times we heard ball growing up?
We might have invented it.
How many times they heard? How many times?
Even as Easters.
How many times they heard ball out in New Orleans? It was what's up, Bo?
What's
Say,
up?
Bo.
All
right.
We went there though.
All right. I'm gonna pull the covers off you heads slowly but surely. Though. I don't want to pull it all the way off. Just leave your cold shaking. Pull it off slowly but surely.
And being someone who used to write at a high level and understand how bars work with the sport of hip-hop, you can clearly see what Gillie's talking about, referencing how Wayne's rhymes and his style changed over time. But at this time, I always attributed Wayne's style changes to Dipset, who rhyme with metaphors and multi-syllables, combined with Wayne adapting their fashion style as well, wearing wallet chains and fitted clothing with skulls on it in a time where everybody was wearing oversized tall t-shirts and baggy jeans and extra long chains. So maybe Gillie has a point when he says Lil Wayne kind of borrowed from his style and switched it all up. I mean, he might have a point there, but he never said nothing about ghostwriting. Gillie would then eventually respond to Lil Wayne on the track called Warning Shots. Now in this diss track, I'm not gonna lie, Gillie does get Lil Wayne the f*** on out of here with bars like, "Damn it, Dwayne Carter, you kissed Stunner in his mouth, what you Birdman daughter?" And on this track, he kind of doubles down on the whole I influenced Lil Wayne. "I cool you down as fast as you heat it up. Cause you ain't even you just Gillie repeat it up, speed it up. You're more than a swagger jacket, you's a lifestyle thief. I mean you're you, but you wanna be G. You a fake Milli Vanilli, get slapped by Gillie." Now Gillie never says that he ghost wrote for Wayne on this track either, but he does call Wayne a fake Milli Vanilli. You know, and Milli Vanilli was a German R&B duo who got exposed for not singing on their own records. Now this could be a diss saying Lil Wayne has ghostwriters, but it's not Gillie claiming he himself wrote for Lil Wayne. Then at the end of the song, Gillie stops rhyming and just starts talking over the beat. I mean, I know you too much, young, and like, stop playing with me. This is grown man shit around here. You know what I'm saying? I could really expose you. Now, when Gillie says he could expose Lil Wayne, is Gillie alluding to ghostwriters or is he alluding to some other shit? Well, that would be just pure speculation, but nonetheless, Gillie would continue his in-track rant and would expose some shit anyway by saying, I know why the squad left. I know about y'all getting stuck in Memphis and couldn't move the tour bus because you didn't have gas money. You had to get a Western Union from Birdman Jr. Come on. You got 4 albums out and ain't received 1 publishing check. Hey, Stunner, give that man his money. You rotten as hell, man. Hey, Wayne, wake up. Everybody didn't leave for nothing. When did it become cool, Dwayne, for Daniel's son to disrespect Mr. Miyagi? Wax on, wax off. Get out of here. When I came around Cash Money, man, y'all was wearing FUBU jerseys and soft-toe Reeboks. Now it's Prada this, Roberto Cavelli that. Now everything's Bathing Ape, and that's pushing them, man. I know, yeah, you too. I know, yeah, me too. Get out of here, man. Now, from Dipset to Clips with Bathing Ape and from Gillie the Kid, I don't doubt that Lil Wayne done stole and borrowed from a whole bunch of people's style, blended it in a pot, and made it his own. You know, I wouldn't doubt that because there's documentation of Lil Wayne getting influenced by people. If you've been around long enough and you know, you know. But where's the ghostwriting? Now, Gillie would drop another track going off on Wayne called Frontin' Like Your Daddy. Gillie took the Stuntin' Like Your Daddy instrumental and hilariously dissed Wayne on it with a follow-up track, but there was still no mention of any ghostwriting claims on this song. And then the diss tracks would stop, but that wouldn't stop Gillie from appearing on Hip Hop DX magazine to sit down with an interview to talk more in detail about how he allegedly wrote for Lil Wayne. But interestingly enough, the interview seemingly has been taken off of Hip Hop DX website, as I couldn't find any record of it from there directly on their site. But other sources like ChatGPT can confirm that this interview is real. But the more I searched, I found a site called The Shelter who reposted this same interview that Gillie the Kid had with Hip Hop DX later in 2013. And in this interview, Gillie would take credit for writing the entire Carter 1. Hip Hop DX, what's good with that shit? With you ghostwriting for Lil Wayne, wanna speak on that? Gillie, I penned a lot of shit. They kept me around there. Stunner gave me $200K when I signed. They were so in a rush to get me in a deal, they didn't do the publishing right there on the spot. They just wanted to get me ink. As soon as they got me ink, they wanted to discuss publishing. Once they didn't want to give me the money I was asking for, my publishing, then I knew it was a problem. I had talks and sit down with Wayne. He didn't even know what publishing was. So I started to see what was really going on around here. They just wanted me to play the background, pin some give me a check, pin some more give me a check. So that's what I did. I got my money from that situation, right, and skated. So according to Gillie, he ghost wrote all these songs, got enough money, and then dipped the fuck off. But let's continue. Hip Hop DX, which albums did you ghost write for? Gillie, the Carter 1. I didn't do the Carter 2, I wasn't around for that. Hip Hop DX, which songs did you write for the Carter 1? Pretty much all of them, Gillie says. Hip Hop DX, how much did you get for each track? Gillie, it wasn't really no certain amount, you know what I'm saying? I was getting like 15 to 20 stacks a track. Hip Hop DX, how do you feel about ghostwriting for Lil Wayne period when you could have just used that hot for yourself? Gillie then says, to me it didn't matter. This is what I had to do. I don't give a fuck about the fame. I give a fuck about the money, you know what I'm saying? My money situation is cool. I got $200,000 worth of jewelry. I'm cool. I got 4 major figure pieces. You got a mansion? I got a mansion. I got 6 bedrooms and bathrooms. You got a Bentley? I got a Rover. I don't hustle. This is all behind the scenes checks. What am I getting it for? You smell me? The dude's a fraud, man. On a scale of 1 to 10, Lil Wayne's a 6 as a rapper. Him with no help is a 6. You heard Lil Wayne for 3 or 4 albums before I got around Cash Money. Did you say, damn, Lil Wayne's my favorite rapper? Hip Hop DX. You're right. Before other albums like The Block is Hot, 500 Degrees, and Lights Out, people said Wayne wasn't rapping as hot, and the rumor was Gillie was writing this, especially here in Philly. Gillie. Now, how long you been hearing that? You've been hearing that for maybe close to 3 years. It never came to surface because I had no beef with Wayne. Me and Wayne was cool. I'm a real dude. I ain't gonna expose you unless you make me expose you. You put me in a situation where I had no choice but to expose you for the fraud that you are. He's a fraud, man. Now notice, when Gillie the Kid was asked, what songs did you write for Lil Wayne? He went to say all of them and didn't get into any specific tracks at all. Pay attention and keep that in mind because he would later do this again. But just in case you're watching this and this article is incredible enough for you, because again, it's from a third-party site that reposted this interview that couldn't be found on Hip Hop DX. The non-believers might say it's fake. They might say Hip Hop DX misquoted him, and that's why they deleted it. Well, I got a video clip of Gillie saying the same thing.
Did you ghostwrite for Lil Wayne?
Everybody already know what that is about.
How many records? How long?
Man, whole Carter 1, basically.
I know it.
But that's the past. I'm here now, and a lot of people's in trouble.
Now, I saw this footage a lot growing up, so I know this is an AI. And if you notice, when this was asked, Gillie said he did write for Lil Wayne, but quickly tried to change the subject and play it off afterward toward the end to get the interviewer off topic. Almost like he didn't want to fully get into it because he was trying to keep this lie going. Gillie would later go on to Street DVDs to troll Wayne when he was asked yet again about the ghostwriting and what songs he wrote.
Stunner was fronting on the paper.
Yeah, you know, made a bass play the background because I wasn't selling no publishing, so you know how it go, man. Played the background, Ping, give me a check, Ping, give me a check, Ping, give me a check, Ping, give me a check. When the checks got big enough, you homie, I'm gone. I'm a holler. That's how I went.
The funny thing is saying it's a controversy in regards to the whole which songs you wrote, what verses you wrote, man, so just put it out there.
Man, I was around the whole time, man. You know what I'm saying? My whole intention, you know, is not to discredit a or nothing, because, you know, I with Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying? That was my youngin' life. You know what I'm saying? It kind of disappointed me when a threw a pop shot at me. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm a real I handle accordingly. So, you know, I ain't really with all this so I called the I reached out to a you know what I'm saying? Didn't get back at me, so I feel as though, you know, I'm a man, I gotta stand on my own 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you a kid to me. You 20, 21 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a how much money you got. You never been off the porch.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you're a kid to me, and I show you enough love to reach out to you, get a chance to say, I'm sorry. You know, it was I was hot at night, you know, I had too much to drink, and we could have got past that like men, but you ain't even real enough to call me back, so. You know what I'm saying?
And again, you guessed it, he would again deflect and not fully answer the question. But I guess Lil Wayne would eventually get tired of this and 3 years later, he would address these claims by rapping these lines on the track I'm Blooded. I advance my flow, they must like that. They like it so much, they say they write that. This seems to be the only time Wayne ever addressed these claims, as there's no interviews of Wayne speaking on Gillie's claims of ghostwriting. Now, nothing major would come up about this situation for years, as Gillie wasn't really buzzing with his rap career like that over time. Then Gillie's cousin Wallo, who was locked up for 20 years and was in the major Figgas group, got out of prison in 2017. And 2 years later in 2019, Gillie and Wallo would start a podcast and take the media game by storm with their successful podcast called $1 Million Worth of Game. And with Gillie back in the limelight, would make these ghostwriting allegations resurface. In 2022, Gillie would appear on the Nori podcast Drink Champs, and Nori would bring these claims back up and ask Gillie about these claims about ghostwriting for Lil Wayne.
And that's where you and Lil Wayne caught smoke?
No, me and Lil Wayne caught smoke because he just dissed me on a song called Problem Solver.
You had not took a shot at him?
No.
You might have said you wrote his rhymes or something before that?
No, nothing.
You said you wrote his rhymes after that?
Nothing. Dog, when that happened, two from Philly called me. When the song came out.
But let me go back to this before you please. So, but what, did you write Lil Wayne's rhymes? Is that true?
Man, that
leave it alone.
Let me just say this, right?
Because that's, you know.
I done spoke on that so many times.
Right.
Nori.
Just not on this platform. That's the reason we want to get this out the way.
Well, if you Google it, Stunner said that out his mouth. Well, he wrote some things for the company, but he didn't get paid what he got paid. So that was gratifying enough. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, at the end of the day, man, salute to Lil Wayne, man. Salute to, salute the baby, because I...
And like usual Gillie fashion, when he answered this, he tried to deflect, but Nori wasn't gonna let him get off that easy. And when he was asked again, he said, I spoke about this many times. But judging from these previous clips, when the did he get into it? We hardly heard him delve in this situation at all because he's always dancing around the question like the Macarena. And each time he's asked this he always seems less and less confident and more ashamed of it and tries to deflect because it just seems like an alleged lie that he told earlier in his career that he's trying to move past because he knows it was bull. Also, what really aggravated me was when he went from saying, I wrote for Lil Wayne confidently, saying he wrote the whole Carter 1, to now saying he wrote some things for the company, which is completely different from being paid 15 to 20K each track and writing the whole Carter 1. Turk from Cash Money would eventually go on to Drink Champs as well in 2022 and say Gillie is a clout chaser and didn't write for Wayne.
You talk about my little bro, you wrote for him, you ain't right for no Lil Wayne, You ain't right for Lil Wayne and I stand on that. Shorty been doing this You a clout chaser. Now talk about that.
Also, Birdman would finally address this when asked about Gillie the Kid writing for Wayne on Clubhouse in 2023.
I never put a record out with Gillie, but I ain't never made a dollar off Gillie when he be running around with all that capping. Like, I ain't never made no money off you. Stop all that capping talking. You not like that. And he for sure ain't never wrote one rhyme for Moolah.
Gillie would later comment and keep deflecting by saying, 25 years later, instead of addressing whether he lied or not. And then after that, he responded in a video.
I'm bigger than Baby. Ain't that crazy? I'm bigger than that right now. I generate more money than that right now. I don't hear that shit. It's counting me out. I'm bigger than you. Shut up. Nobody give a about you. Gillie, what's up with Beanie Smacking? Come on, man. Y'all don't believe that shit, man. Cut it the out. You just wanted something to say, man. Why Birdman wait so long to say something, man? I can't even respond when you say something 25 years later. You only responding because you don't hear the roar of the crowd no more. You talk about some shit 25 years later. I done called you a nigga for 25 years. 25 years later, you respond, sit your bitch down somewhere. Probably want to hear that shit. I don't even disrespect. You don't even disrespect because I knew you. I see the way you treat a real. Rest in peace, Stone. You could never treat me like that, though. Because you already know. You know what type of I am. Talk about I ain't like that. Why it took you 25 years to say that? Took a nigga 25 years to get some heart to say I ain't like that. Fucking coward. You treat real nigga you came in the game with you owed money to. You a coward. Shut up. You on Clubhouse at 50 talk. Shut your up, boy. Nobody care about you no. You old nigga. Shut up. You can't get no shoes off your old heads. Nobody wanna hear that. I fuck these after I shoes. Big we slang freak. Do your thing, do your thing. It's counting me out. Still here. I got an energy drink in stores. You can walk in stores right now. I got an energy drink. And by the way, this episode of Grinding Birdman Old Up is brought to you by Pure Fuel.
Now notice in this video, right, Gillie the Kid addressed everything. He addressed Benny Siegel punching him. He addressed this, that, and whatever. He addressed everything but those ghostwriting claims. Gillie, he called you a liar. You ain't prove him wrong. The deflecting, to me, the deflecting just tells the whole story right there, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I got tired of the he said, she said bullshit, even though I feel like Stevie Wonder could even see that Gillie is allegedly lying. So I wanted to find some proof. So I did some hip-hop forensic files research type to really put this rap cap story to bed. So I did two things to try to put this to bed. The first thing was the most obvious one. I went to Apple Music, I went to the song credits on the whole Carter 1 and found out every writing credit that was on the album and who they are. I'm talking real names and all that. Now, majority of the people that are listed on the writing credits on damn near every song is Michael Dwayne Carter, which is Lil Wayne, and the name Byron Thomas, which is Manny Fresh. The second most consistent name on multiple songs is the name Batman, which obviously isn't Bruce Wayne, but a songwriter called Batman the Producer. According to Apple Music, the songwriter named Batman is credited alongside Byron Thomas and Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., Lil Wayne's real name, for the composition and lyrics of Lil Wayne's song BM Jr. And then if we go here on Genius, you could also see him getting credited to multiple Lil Wayne projects. The next name we see multiple times on song credits is Roger D. Dickerson, also known as DJ Raj Smooth. He's a songwriter who has writing credits on Lil Wayne's songs including Who Wanna and Miss My Dogs, who has his own website describing himself as a New Orleans DJ and music professional. The next name we see listed is Brian Christopher Williams, who's Birdman. The next name we see is Christopher Dorsey, which is BG, Tab Virgil, which is Turk, Terrius Gray, which is Juvenile. And just to be clear, for verification purposes, Gillie the Kid's real name is Nasir Fard. And out of 21 songs on the Carter 1, Gillie the Kid is not credited in one damn song. Now, I looked up to see how accurate DSP's songwriting credit is. And from what I've researched and found out, DSPs aren't always 100% correct when crediting people on songs. Now, I looked up BMI and ASCAP for the songwriter Nasir Fard, which is Gillie the Kid. I looked up both names, and I didn't find him, credited for any song of Lil Wayne. And when I confirmed with ChatGPT, they could not find me no songs that Gillie the Kid ever wrote for Lil Wayne. So ASCAP, BMI, and Apple Music and Spotify song credits does not list Gillie the Kid to have ever wrote for Lil Wayne. Also, with Gillie's deflection tactics, switch pitches, inconsistent statements, people calling him out on his lies, receipts going against his claims, it's probably safe to say that Gillie was just angry and frustrated and created this alleged false narrative out of vengeance because Lil Wayne dissed him. He felt he got over at Cash Money Records because they put him on the shelf, allegedly. I also noticed when Birdman called him a liar and he responded in that video, he denied Beanie Siegel socking him out by basically saying, y'all don't believe that. But Gillie, as usual, didn't even touch on Birdman saying he was a liar about ghostwriting for Wayne. See, Gillie said these alleged lies in an era where DSPs and AI didn't exist, and the internet was in its very early stages. So Gillie probably thought at the time that this was a hip-hop lie he could get over and get off with saying without really being checked or it being brought to the forefront. And to be fair, Gillie wasn't the first or last rapper to partake in rap cap activities. Allegedly, rappers have been lying way before Jada asked us all why they lie in 85% of their rhymes. So it's really just customary, usual rap business as usual. The only problem is when Gillie transitions into the media space, unlike rap cap, the lies don't work in the media space like they work for hip-hop. Because everything is about credibility once you step into that journalistic media space route. And if you pride yourself on dropping game to people, lying about ghostwriting is kind of counterproductive to your message that you're trying to deliver. And when you constantly call people out for being fake and then act like you're on the real side of things, lying and clout chasing before clout chasing was even a thing is probably not a good look. Also, Gillie has a lot of pride and doesn't want to look like a lame, lying cornball. Not saying that he is, but it sure does come off this way. Honestly, I like Gillie the Kid. I fuck with his content. I think that he's funny, but this isn't about my personal views or what I like. This is about real getting out to the people. Because for years, my has been saying, oh, Gillie wrote for Wayne. No, the fuck he didn't, and I just proved it to y'all that he didn't. I wish Gillie would just clear the air and tell the fans he was trolling back in the day and he never wrote shit for Lil Wayne and that he lied for a come up in his early career allegedly. But some people's ego, delusion, and pride will prevent them from ever taking accountability. And you know, Gillie the Kid was tired of repeating this shit in interviews, but when you're telling the truth, when someone tells the truth and they're passionate about the truth, they never get tired of telling the truth. People only get tired of telling a lie after they got what they wanted to out of the lie. Once it no longer benefits them, they don't want to keep telling that same story over and over because they always have to put that mask back on, play a character, and a lot of times people get tired of playing a character that's not really them. That's why Gillie never wants to talk about it, in my opinion. So I'm gonna do Gillie the Kid the favor. He don't want to clear this shit up. I'm gonna package this up nice and neat with a nice little bow on it so Gillie the Kid don't have to take accountability. I'll make him take accountability with this video, and I just wanted to get the truth out to the people. Stop saying this man wrote for Lil Wayne, bro. He did not. It's bull. And that solves this rap cap situation. Like and subscribe and let me know if you want to see me do more of this shit.